Welcome to the Spectator's Creepy Tales. These are 4 tales of survival. So sit back, relax, and let the silence fill your abode. Now open your eyes. Tale 1. This is a story that happened around the era of the 1950s or 1960s in Savannah, Georgia. It was told to me by a neighbor. This story is about a lady that I will call Leslie. Decades ago, a young lady named Leslie Williams was walking home one night. She was tired, so she decided to go through the shortcut by the railroad tracks. Now children as well as adults were warned by police and others not to go through the shortcut by the tracks. Even during my day, we were told not to take the shortcut, and I personally told my children not to take that shortcut as well. The railroad tracks were dangerous, but the woods on each side of the tracks were unsafe just as well. The areas were so dark that one could not see the white of his hands at night. Even during the day, this wooded area was dark. From what I was told, that area has always been dark during the day. This was just a place in which darkness seemed to be welcomed. Streetlights were not in this area, and unsavory characters used to hang out in the woods by the railroad tracks for years. So many things have happened, from people getting robbed, women being assaulted, and other bad things occurred there. Yet, Leslie was so tired, and she didn't want to walk the main street to get home. It would take too long. Leslie thought that if she walked fast through the woods, she would get home quicker. What's the worst that could happen, right? Well, she settled it. She made up her mind to walk through the shortcut by the railroad tracks. As she trekked through the first wooded area, darkness surrounded her. It was dark everywhere and reminded her of the section in hell that the Bible labeled outer darkness. She was scared, and she heard whispers. The night owl announced his presence, and the wind blew a strange hum. She could hear the crunching of leaves as if someone was approaching her. She ran until she saw a small opening through some bushes. Running like hell was chasing her, Leslie pushed past the bushes and reached the railroad tracks. The young lady was glad to be out of the area. She quickly looked to see if a train was approaching, but the tracks were clear. So she crossed over to enter the other area. Nervously, Leslie saw that she was now approaching another spooky area. She realized that this was the darkest part of the woods that she often heard people talk about. This section was known to be so spooky that it would take a person's breath away. One would be holding his or her breath the entire time of walking through that dreadful section. She was walking in the forbidden spot. A mill pond was also in this section, and it was said that people had drowned in that pond. She saw a wood plank that someone used as a bridge that led to the other side, where there was the exit out of the forbidden zone. Her legs were hurting, but she had to push past the pain. Leslie encouraged herself by thinking, "If I could reach the bridge and cross over, I'll be out of danger." Again, Leslie picked up her pace because she knew that anything could happen to her if she slowed down. No one would hear her screams or of her whereabouts. Suddenly, she heard the sound again. The crunching of leaves alerted Leslie that someone was in that area with her. That person saw her, or it could have been the person she heard in the first set of woods. Perhaps he followed her. Shadows raced before her, however, Leslie prayed in her spirit. Suddenly, she heard the leaves rustled again. The person was walking up fast behind her and keeping pace with her. She started to run, for she was near the plank bridge. The exit was only seconds away. The person was gaining on her. Could it be a ghost or a killer following her? Thoughts flooded her mind as she continued to walk. Suddenly, a stranger came out of nowhere. He had a knife in his hand. He grabbed Leslie. He had the sole intentions of harming her. Leslie fell to her knees and began to pray aloud. As she prayed, she began to speak in unknown tongues which seemed to frighten the stranger. The man ran from her, and she was left alone. She stood to her feet and ran from the woods unharmed. She was thanking the Lord for protecting her from the stranger. Leslie never took that shortcut again. Kids and adults are still being told not to venture into the cut by the tracks. However, they still venture in the outer darkness and the forbidden zone. Women have been assaulted. Drug dealers conducted their business inside those woods too. I was once told, years ago, that further down the tracks, there was a blood-stained mattress up in a tree. No one knows how it got there. I never went to investigate because I knew how to stay clear of that area. Later, I heard that the mattress was no longer there. I must admonish everyone to stay away from the railroad tracks, for it is a hazardous zone. This is not a story to encourage anyone to venture around the railroad tracks, moving trains, or into wooded areas. Danger lurks in these parts. Beware and be safe.
Tale 2. The television anchorwoman was adamant with the report. There were a rash of break-ins at various locations. Victims who experienced these intrusions were beyond frightened. Invaders were described as being ruthless and capable of hiding. I had just awakened from sleep and was checking for the weather report. I had no idea what the day had in store. You see, I used to be a closet hoarder, but I had to clean my room from the clutter. So in the closet I placed it all. From shoes, clothes, blankets, and rugs. I know it sounds messy and foul. However, having a crowded closet saved my life. It happened late one night while I was combing my hair. I heard a loud sound coming from downstairs. Somebody broke a window or two. Then I heard the voices of two dudes. It sounded like they were looking for valuables throughout. I grabbed my cell phone and dialed 911, no doubt. I told the operator that intruders were in my house. She told me to find a place to hide and not to peek out. I grabbed my headset to connect to my phone. I did not want the intruders to know that I was home. So, I opened my closet door and stepped inside. I hid far in the back behind two boxes and a clothes pile. Suddenly, I heard the intruders rushed upstairs. They were going from room to room, and I was scared. I can hear the sounds of sirens approaching where I lived. The intruders panicked and hid. I heard one run to the bathroom across the hall. Then the other ran into my room, but then he stalled. Apparently, he was looking to hide to avoid the police. Then he opened the closet door and was inside with me. I was so afraid and didn't know what to do. I was now sharing my hiding place with a burglar too. I had to fade my phone screen so he wouldn't see the light. I wanted to remain hidden from his sight. I could barely breathe, and I limited movement. He had to believe that he was the only one in the closet. He mustn't know that I'm in the closet with him, or my mere presence would become threatened. This man was breathing heavy as he stood still. He sounded like a predatory animal awaiting for its kill, praying that the police would find him hiding in my closet. I had to make known my location through text, or this burglar would find me and become a terror. I had to devise a plan to bring the cops nearer. This intruder was consumed with watching my bedroom door, hoping that the cops don't enter the upper floor. He had the closet door slightly ajar so he could see. He was unaware that he was hiding with me. I heard the cops as they entered the house. The man stood still. I can tell that he wanted to run out. My friends and I always played a game with our cell phones. We memorized letters and numbers, texting with our eyes closed. I sucked at it, but I had to try it, or my life may end in this closet. I kept my phone face down and text the words, "I'm in the closet with him." Then I heard a cop yell, "Come out with your hands up." They found the one across the hall and placed him in cuffs. The one sharing the closet with me had a knife. He was waiting on one of the cops. He was ready to fight. When this one cop entered my room to search relentlessly, I pushed the intruder out of the closet, and he fell with me. The cop ran over and aimed at the guy. I was glad to be safe and alive. I still haven't cleaned out my closet. It's still a mess. I will organize it eventually, but for now I must reflect on how I hid in the closet with an intruder who was not aware of my presence in the corner. Forcing him out is a decision that I don't regret. To alert the police that there was another thief left. Although my cluttered closet saved my life, it also alerted me to keep windows and doors locked day and night. I also installed an alarm system because the past intruder entered through my window. Breaking and entering is a thief's sole intention. It's the ultimate goal. It's a strategy to steal everything that a person worked for. From a scary situation I became aware. An intruder wants goods, your life he would not spare. Y'all be safe out there. Lock up everything because a thief don't care.
Tale 3.
Zeta works as a data clerk at an advertising agency. In her spare time, she likes to work on witty inventions. Nonetheless, she made sure that her material was always copyrighted. In spite of this, she had a cell phone that her family and friends said was ugly. Zeta had broken phones that she repaired and made into one phone. The broken parts made the phone look like an accident. The phone would often black out only to come back on a minute later or would make a buzzing sound. Zeta knew what the source of the sound was. Yet she continued to use the phone and said that it would be her greatest invention one day. She often worked late, and her coworker Leslie would take her home. One day Leslie had a family emergency and would be unable to make it to work. Zeta knew that she had to work late, so she decided that when it was time to leave for the evening, she would call a cab or Uber. Walking home was not an option. So when her shift ended and her assignments were completed, Zeta submitted her material to her boss via email for her to view in the morning. Then she gathered her things, strapped her tote bag across her shoulder, and went outside of the building. She had her phone in hand and was about to call for a ride when Mr. Pascal interrupted her. He was the manager in the printing department. She did not like him, and he always gave her the creeps. He asked her if she needed a ride. She told him that she had it covered, and she thanked him anyway. Zeta waved her cell phone like she had just called for a ride, but she had not. Mr. Pascal asked her where she lived. She reluctantly told him the area but not the street. He mentioned to her that he could take her home because it looked like it was about to rain. He further stated that there is no telling how long that she would have to wait for her ride, and it gets really dark in that area at night. If a dreadful incident were to occur, no one would hear her. He would hate for an awful situation to take place, and being that she is alone, she cannot receive help. Zeta realized that Mr. Pascal was telling the truth, and he seemed sincere. She really needed to get home because she was expecting a telephone call. So she placed her cell phone in her purse, and she reluctantly accepted the ride. During the drive, Zeta noticed that Mr. Pascal went a different route to take her home. She was unfamiliar with the area in which he was driving. He told Zeta that he tries to get out of that area at night. He was scared when he heard that awful scream that mimicked an animal attack. The noise emanated from the wooded area near their building. Zeta became nervous and she repeated, "Animal attack?"
Yes. It happened last month when I was working late. Well, I always work late.
Zeta fretted because she never knew that Mr. Pascal worked late. Plus, she had not seen him in the building after closing time. However, they did work in different departments, so it was a possibility that he did work late sometimes. Mr. Pascal continued telling Zeta about the incident that scared him.
It was midnight, and I was leaving. I was tired and was walking toward my car.
I heard a man yell and then a woman screamed for help. Following that was a roar like an animal. I hurried to my car. Once I got inside, I notified the police.
Zeta asked Mr. Pascal if he ever found out what happened, and he said no. He said that he just shared with everyone what he heard that night and advised that no one stay late if they did not need to. He also told Zeta that no one believed him. They thought that he was just joking. He was known to be a jokester at times. Mr. Pascal told Zeta that he had to run to Manor's hardware store to get a few items, and then he would take her home. Zeta told him that she was expecting an especially important phone call on her business line at home. He told her that it would not take him but a moment to grab a few things from the store. He said that he did not want to be out in the rain. Narrowing her eyes at him, Zeta became apprehensive of her coworker, but she accepted his excuse. Within 10 minutes, he returned to the car and placed 2 bags in the back seat. Next, he got into the car. Instead of driving her home, he mentioned that he had to go to the pharmacy to get his medicine. Zeta became aggravated and she was running empty with patience. She removed her phone from her tote bag and she made a suggestion. "You know what? Mr. Pascal, just pull over. We are within city limits, and I will be able to call a cab or something."
No. I got you. I will take you home.
"Yes, I'm sure, but I'm expecting a very important phone call." Mr. Pascal's attitude changed, and he responded to her statement.
Are you expecting a phone call from your boyfriend?
Thinking that he was out of line, and he was prying, Zeta's reaction revealed that she was not pleased with his behavior. "Excuse me? What did you say?"
I asked, pudding cup, if you had a man.
Zeta rationally wondered why he would call her pudding cup. Now he was acting off-centered in his thoughts. They did not have a romantic relationship, nor were they friends. She personally didn't like him, and he was deepening her thoughts to loathe him. He continued to talk about her safety.
If you indeed have a boyfriend, he should have been to the office to pick you up. No young lady should be out late like this. My mother would have been angry.
Zeta knew immediately that something was wrong with Mr. Pascal. She always had her misgivings about him. He was an odd fella who would appear friendly but was always watching the ladies in the office, and especially her. He had an awful habit of licking his lips to the point that it sounded like he was slurping. She had to do something because this man was acting like he was going to assault her or unalive her. "Okay. Go to the store and I will wait for you. I cannot be out in the rain because I am just getting over the flu."
I am glad that you agreed with me because I am a good man. I am not a loser.
Perturbed by his aggressive behavior, Zeta knew that she had to remain calm. "I didn't call you a loser." The unstable man's voice escalated like he was becoming angry.
And I'm glad that you didn't.
Mr. Pascal had a lisp, and he was known to spray people when he talked. Zeta have overheard people mention that they may have to wear a raincoat and mask when talking to Mr. Pascal because he spits during conversations. In regard to Zeta, his saliva landed on her glasses and cheeks. She removed her spectacles and put them in its case. Then she wiped her face with a handkerchief that she carried in her tote bag. She felt disgusted and dirty just talking to this man. She thought to herself, "What did I get myself into? This man is a case study. I am going to have to get away."
I am sorry for yelling, but I have to get something from the pharmacy. I gotta have it.
"I understand. When you go in the store, can you buy me a Snickers and a Coke?" Instantly, Mr. Pascal pulled over and put the car in park.
Do you think that Mr. Pascal is stupid?
Zeta thought to herself, "Okay, why is this man talking like he is a separate individual from his true identity?" Yet, Mr. Pascal continued to relate his suspicions to his passenger.
"I know that you would try to get out of the car. Do you know that I eat the souls of people like you?"
Zeta became more nervous hearing Mr. Pascal's statement. Yet she had to convey her feelings about his threatening demeanor. "Excuse me? Mr. Pascal, you are scaring me."
You should be scared because I'm the big bad wolf and you are Red Goldilocks.
Now she knew that this man was cray-cray. In regard to the characters that he mentioned from childhood stories, Red Riding Hood encountered the big bad wolf while on her way to visit her grandmother. Goldilocks did a breaking and entering in the Three Bears' house because she was hungry and exhausted. Mr. Pascal ruined the Grimm fairy tales. Perhaps he had a Norman Bates childhood. Suddenly, Zeta noticed that her coworker commenced to grunting like a caged animal and she gasped.
What shall I do with you now, my precious, precious beauty, said the beast.
Next, he growled and saliva, in a foam-like state, exited his mouth. Zeta almost used profanity, but her fear prevented her. "What the?" Then Mr. Pascal grabbed her and said,
Don't use foul language, my dear. Mother wouldn't like it.
Terrifyingly, she screamed and tried to resist his tight grip on her arm. He grunted even more. Zeta managed to remove her mace from her tote bag. She sprayed his face with the focus on his eyes. He released his grip on her. He screamed,
My eyes! My eyes! You dumb broad! You sprayed my eyes, and I can't see. Mother will get you for sure. You blinded her precious baby boy.
Zeta was able to get out of the car. She ran and was trying to rationalize what she should do. The terrified young lady thought to herself, I should have never gotten into this idiot's car. As she ran down the road, she remembered that they passed a convenience store. Zeta continued to run until she viewed the store. A woman was standing near the door. She was able to reach out to one of the employees just in time. The lady was locking the door and was about to leave. Zeta ran to the lady and explained that she needed help. She was nervous and distraught. She could barely breathe to explain what happened to her. The cashier told her to calm down. She unlocked the door, and they entered the store. Zeta calmed herself and then she explained the incident that transpired between her and Mr. Pascal. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, the cashier locked the door. Then she notified the police, and they arrived within 5 minutes. Zeta explained what happened to her and the police immediately searched for Mr. Pascal. He was located parked further from the area where he tried to assault Zeta. Inside his car, he was pouring water from a bottle onto his face. The officers quietly approached his car. They recognized the car in which the victim told them that he was driving. They accosted Mr. Pascal. Removing him from his car, an officer read him his rights, and the other cuffed Mr. Pascal. The police finally apprehended him. Yet the strange man inquired as to why he was being detained. He claimed to be innocent and offered the excuse that he was parked in that area because he was hot. Surely, a person couldn't be arrested for that. One of the officers mentioned to him that his eyes were red like someone maced him. Eventually, the arresting officers told Mr. Pascal why he was taken into custody. The strange man denied the officers' claim. Mr. Pascal said that he knew of no one named Zeta. The officers knew that he was lying. Inside Mr. Pascal's car, the police officers found strange items in the bags on his back seat. This is what he purchased from the hardware store. These items were a tarp, a shovel, and a machete. He paid in cash, but there is a camera in the building and Mr. Pascal is known by the employees in that store. He often buys the same items with the talk of growing his unique garden. This alerted the authorities that he had planned to unalive Zeta. Over time, Zeta found that her ugly cell phone recorded everything that occurred in Mr. Pascal's car. She submitted her phone to the police as evidence. The trace remains of his saliva was on her glasses. The DNA extracted from her glasses revealed that she was in his presence that night. Alarmingly, it was the traced evidence of his saliva that uncovered the truth. Mr. Pascal was responsible for 10 assaults on women. He unalived 2 of his victims too. He was the grunter in the woods. He was the person making strange animal noises. He was a very disturbed man. Mr. Pascal would spend the remainder of his life in prison. Zeta now owns a car. The phone call that she was expecting was an offer to patent one of her inventions. However, the ugly phone and the technology that she added to update her phone was the source of her invention. Because she never closed her phone, detailed conversations with Mr. Pascal before and after the moment that she entered his car were recorded. The time and reason for Zeta's escape was revealed on the ugly phone. Furthermore, the route of the drive, the date and time were noted too. Most importantly, he unknowingly was photographed immediately before Zeta entered his car. Because she mentioned his name, the phone automatically photographed Mr. Pascal. Zeta did not have to press the camera app on her phone. His address and other information was on the phone too. It is good to know that what most of her friends and family deemed an ugly phone saved the life of a young lady one night. Never underestimate a broken phone.
Final tale. I awakened to the sound of thunder. Then the rain came down on me like never-ending showers. I was cold and in an unfamiliar place. I looked up and saw tall trees hovering over me like homicide cops looking down at a dead body. I was in so much pain to the point that any type of movement intensified the hurt. The agony that I felt was excruciating and my head was throbbing. I felt dizzy and my face was wet, I thought from the rain. Yet when I wiped my face with my hand, I saw that it was covered with blood. The woods were very dark and the only light that appeared was from the lightning. I had to dismiss the pain and try to find my way to safety. I eased myself into a sitting position and that is when I saw the most horrible thing. I was nude and bleeding from stab wounds over my upper body. Alarmingly, my legs sustained cuts too. I looked around and what I could see was a few of my clothes just thrown everywhere. My clothes were wet, but I put on my dress and shoes. I used my bra and pantyhose to press on the most severe of the wounds with attempts to stop the bleeding. I commenced to walking the best way that I could. Feeling so weak and dizzy, I found it difficult to tread through this dense territory. The head wound may be the cause of my feelings of lethargy. I really didn't know where I was going. I had to constantly wipe my face to prevent the blood from streaming into my eyes. I was thinking, who could have done this to me? I could not remember anything. My cell phone was nowhere to be found, and I was lost. I continued to walk even though I was in so much pain. I walked until I heard a truck. I stopped and hid in the bushes. I saw the truck and the driver. Could he have been the person that did this to me? I was so afraid, and I didn't know who to trust. However, I had to get help, or I was going to be unalived. Could I have been attacked by an animal? What happened to me? I was dumbfounded. The trucker kept driving and I felt trapped in my surroundings. I couldn't make it to the road to stop the trucker. Walking through the woods with sticks cracking under my feet, I was determined to make it to the road to get help. Would that be a wise choice? I don't know. The person that did this to me may return. Or he could have left me for dead. I don't remember a thing and the forest seemed to be swirling around me. The precipitation came down like a deluge. Then I heard a sound. Someone was whistling. I hid when I saw the lights of the cars illuminate through the trees. Next, I saw men with flashlights move about as if they were looking for something or someone. Could they be looking for me? I had to move because I didn't know what these men were doing. Maybe they returned to the site and didn't find my body. If they know that I'm alive, they must silence me before I can get in touch with the police. I was losing a lot of blood, and I was getting weaker. The men continued to walk, and then I heard one of them say,
"Let's search here."
Then I saw some men commence to spread out. They called out to me. I thought to myself, I'm safe now. I was about to get up and yell over here when I started to remember. I recalled that I was out on a date with a guy that I met online. Before we went to dinner, he wanted to introduce me to his friends. More was being revealed to me. He took me to this house party. When we entered, people were dancing, drinking, and doing anything they could think of. The light was flashing like a warning sign for me to get out of there. Warning, warning. Danger. Danger. 3 guys came up to my date and shook his hand. They all looked at me, and then my date escorted me to a bedroom.
I'm ready to go. I don't know you, and now you want to have sex with me?
It's not like that. I just wanted us to talk.
We can talk over dinner. You know I should have met you at the restaurant instead of riding with you.
Okay, I'll take you home. Just have a drink with me.
He said as he grinned malevolently. I usually don't allow a man to prepare me a drink. I was cautious about that, but I was ready to go home. He assured me that we would leave after I had a drink with him. I consented, and that is all I remember. Apparently, he assaulted me, and he along with his friends took me to the woods where they assaulted me, stabbed me, and left me for dead. They must have had second thoughts and wanted to move my body. When they realized that I was gone, they decided to look for me. I knew that I had to get away, and the best way to do that was to take one of their cars. I prayed to the Lord to give me strength and to help me to get to safety. I didn't speak it out, but I prayed in my mind. I talked to the Lord Jesus as I moved away from my position. I was as quiet as a mouse. The owl and other night creatures masked any sound that I haphazardly made that would draw attention to my location. It's like nature was a sign to look out for me. While the men searched for me, I saw a truck that was closer to me. I made it to the automobile only to find that the keys were not there. I heard them talking, and I knew that they were coming back to their cars. I managed to get inside this Jeep or Range Rover and hid in the back. I prayed that they would not find me. Fortunately, there were only 2 of them inside of the truck, and they did not realize that I was hiding in the back seat. I overheard them talking about the guy. They were mad and said that he messed up, and if they don't find me tonight, I could report all of them to the police. They all decided to go home and gather weapons and dogs to track me down. I was still as if they drove for what seemed to be forever. I heard the guy drop off the other to his home. They both got out of the truck. When I saw that they had gone into the house, I moved up and saw that one of them left their cell phone in the car. I got the cell phone and got out of the car. I hid in some nearby woods and called the police. Just when the men were coming out of the house, the cops pulled up and I heard the ambulance approaching. I came out of the woods. The creeps were surprised to see me. I explained everything to the police as I was escorted to the hospital. The guy I met online and his friends were arrested. I was astonished when I went to court. These men met women online and then committed crimes against them. They were sentenced to 25 years or more for the heinous crimes that they committed. I am still seeing a therapist for the trauma that I sustained, and I still have nightmares. Some people have good experiences with meeting people on online dating sites. However, there are people who were victimized or worse, murdered. I just wanted to share my story and warn people in general about online dating. Not only are women victimized, but I have heard of men being robbed and assaulted by women that they met online. Do background checks, Skype, FaceTime, and ask them as many questions that you can think of. If the person is evasive or their answer sounds far-fetched, he or she may be a potential threat. I know that the Lord saved my life. If it weren't for Jesus answering my prayer, I would not have survived that night. My pastor and some of the members come to my house and have church services with me and Bible study. We all pray that one day I will feel safe enough to go back into the world. For now, I view the world from my television or my computer. I don't date at all, and I am careful what I watch on television or who comes to my home. I hope this story has helped someone who is listening. I urge my listeners to view www.more.com. Our best online dating advice, 8 red flags to watch for. If you know of any other articles that warns readers of the disadvantages of online dating, feel free to share. Thanks for watching The Spectator's Creepy Tales. If you have any stories that you would like for me to share, be sure to email me at spectatorscreepytales@yahoo.com. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, The Spectator is watching to add a new story to the Creepy Tales.